Hello and welcome everyone to our Breathe Well workshop. Thank you for taking time for yourself today and just to really take a pause and take some time to rejuvenate. Perhaps you're needing energy today, or maybe you're just needing rest and relaxation. So we're going to cover all of those topics today. Just taking time to make sure that your phones are turned off, that you're not going to be distracted by a watch app that's ringing in, just giving yourself this time to just be and to be present and to set an intention over this time of what you need today. My name is Ray. I am a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, certified breath coach, and here to walk alongside you for the next 4 weeks as we breathe well together. We'll And we're needing some help there with that next slide. Thank you. So taking a moment to think about why breath work is important to you is a way for us to just take a moment to reflect. And we know that breath work is something that we can take with us everywhere we go. So we don't have to pull on the workout clothes. We can just, wherever we show up, we can breathe. And so just knowing that it is a tool for you to have with you at all times. So let's take a moment to sit up nice and tall to begin and just allow your eyes to become heavy. Roll those shoulders down and away. Taking your right hand and placing it on your chest. Taking your left hand, thumb facing up and resting just under the sternum in between those ribs. And take in a nice deep inhale on a 4 count of 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhaling on a 4 count, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. You can open your eyes and just coming back to this space. Wonderful. And as we move on to the next slide, we'll know that we can find benefits with our breath work. So it relieves stress and anxiety. It improves our sleep, improves digestion, balancing energy, managing pain, lowering blood pressure, and reducing our heart rate. And who doesn't need at least one or two of these? So we know that we may have a list of things that why we showed up, and maybe those are on this list, and perhaps if they're not, we'll be covering them, I know, over the next 4 weeks. And how it works just simplistically, we have our parasympathetic system, our sympathetic nervous system, and when we are in parasympathetic rest and digest period, that is when we are in just that space of being able to maybe sleep, maybe take a breath and just relax. In sympathetic, it is more of that fight or flight. And it is that energy that we may need to get up in the morning and get moving, or maybe we've hit a midday slump and we need to bring energy back into our practice. So knowing that we have these as tools that we'll be able to utilize. So if you were able to join for our breathwork workshop, last month, we talked about ocean breath or ujjayi breathing, and hopefully you've been able to practice that, as this breath is something that is utilized throughout breath work and in your yoga practices as well. And so just taking a moment to find that ocean breath, sitting up nice and tall, and inhaling slowly through the nose, but slightly constricting the throat as if fogging a mirror. So take a moment just to practice that. And as you exhale slowly through the nose with a gentle ocean wave sound, keeping the breaths long and smooth and steady. And if it helps you to be able to focus, just taking the index finger and the thumb and just touching them together and resting them on your upper thighs, just nice and comfortably in this space. And we'll take another breath here with Ujjayi. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It enhances our vagal tone. It reduces stress and it improves our lung efficiency. So this is just a simple breath. It is called a water breath. We'll get into that later on in the practice. And it is a breath that we can utilize any time of day, hence the kind of the nickname of water. So anytime you feel the need to drink some water, you might even think about, oh, a nice balancing breath is what I need right now. So utilizing the breath for that and just bringing that synchrony to the body. How did that feel? Hopefully you're able to practice ocean breath. If it feels uncomfortable or clunky right now, it's okay. It takes time to be able to bring that ocean sound. And sometimes, I say relax and you're maybe constricting your throat too much, almost over constricting or making funny faces because you're trying so hard to make that ocean sound. Just know, practice, 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 breathe, breathe, breathe. You'll hear me say that throughout. It is just something that maybe doesn't come naturally. We thinking of breathing as, yes, it comes very naturally, but when we start to control or change our breath, it does take practice.
Ray, can you do it one time or a couple times for us? I'm not even sure I understand what that's supposed to sound like.
Yeah. So thinking about the ocean, so taking in that nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, I'm trying to emphasize it. Hopefully you can hear it just a little bit through the recording here. So nice deep inhale and exhale. I'm really emphasizing that exhale that hopefully you can hear it. It does really mimic the sound of the ocean. And if you think about that constriction through the throat, that will help you with that. Also thinking about fogging the mirror. So, and then closing your mouth, just working through that. So you get maybe the exhale first and then working on that inhale. Hopefully that helped a little bit, Wendy. It does definitely take practice. So knowing that it is okay to not get it the first time. So next we're going to move on to our breath testing. And the first one that we're going to do is nasal cycle testing. And you may say, well, why are we testing our breath? We are all here, we're breathing, we may not need to do this. But if you've ever worked with a personal trainer, we know that they like to kind of see where we're starting at and kind of that starting point. And knowing that for yourself is extremely important. So, understanding that instead of doing the functional movement test, we're going to do the nasal cycle test. And instead of doing strength assessment, we're going to do a CO2 tolerance test. And flexibility, well, we're going to do breath control tests. So, those things that you would maybe do with a trainer, we're going to do that with our breath. So with the nasal cycle test, what we're going to do is we're going to take our index finger and we're going to take it under our nose. And then you're going to take in a nice deep inhale and then exhale it out through your nose. Now pause there. Did you feel a dominance on one side or the other? Continue to practice that. And if maybe you didn't feel it, you might even try it on the other hand. And you may also try thumb and index finger right under the nostrils. Did anybody see or feel a dominance? I know right now mine is left dominant. Yeah, you can put that in the chat if you are feeling a right or left nostril dominant. Feel free to kind of experience that through the chat as we go. And that way you can see how others are responding to this. And so this is giving us that indication of where we are at this time. So this is going to change throughout the day. So our dominance is going to change because we're going to be ebbing and flowing in through parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems throughout the day. So we'll have a 90 to 120-minute cycle. You may be feeling fight or flight right now because you've got this meeting, but then, and you're trying to give yourself something. But if you're feeling on that right side because you're already thinking ahead to the other 12 things you have to do for the rest of the day, you actually may be in the right nostril dominant. But hopefully, as we continue to breathe, you're going to start to feel that left nostril dominance. And this will be something that I will be asking you to kind of test throughout the day. As we move on, you'll be able to see that, doing this before or after meals, you'll be able to see some differences there upon waking, before bed, and just start to notice how your dominance is feeling throughout the day. Moving to that next slide. So here are some of those differences between left and right. So left is alpha brainwave, right being beta brainwave, parasympathetic and sympathetic, as I already mentioned. And then after eating, we may feel pretty relaxed because we're feeling satiated. We feel full, and so maybe we're feeling pretty good and relaxed. If we're hungry, we may be right nostril dominant because our body is trying to say, hey, we need to go gather. We need to go find something to eat. Let's do this. Let's get moving. And so your body is just automatically trying to get you to move along with your day so that you can find food. Relaxed and sleepy. So that left nostril dominance will have that feeling of feeling relaxed. Maybe during, at the end of a yoga class, if you're in a savasana, you may feel that relaxation. Before bed, after you've maybe done your wind down sleep hygiene routines at the end of the day and you're feeling sleepy, then you may be in that left nostril dominance. Feeling love and empathy, we may not think about feelings and where that is with our dominance, but it actually does have love and empathy and emotional connections on that relaxed side. Whereas on the other side, we may feel, prepped, ready for physical activity. And if you're not feeling ready for a workout, it's really good to turn on that right nostril dominance as we start to get deeper into this, so that it helps you to get ready to exercise or get up for the day. As I mentioned earlier, just getting ready for the afternoon and trying to get, things moving in your brain a little more. Feelings of calm and creativity may be associated actually with both. So, feelings of calm, definitely on the left nostril dominance, but the creativity may need that extra breath, that extra energy that you're getting from that right nostril side. So, knowing that. But if you're needing calm in your creativity, right, then it's going to be on that left side that you may feel that more creative side come through. Thinking about if you're working on a project on your computer and you're feeling like you just need to go and do things around the house or at work around the office instead of just sitting down and focusing. Well, we know if we take some nice deep breaths that it'll bring us back into that left nostril dominance. So moving on, there is some history between the nasal dominance cycle testing. It was actually discovered back in 1895 by a German physician, Richard Kaiser. So it's not an exact science. Some of you may not have been able to feel a dominance. Some people can't. And then you may even be tricked, like thinking that it's one side and it's actually the other. There's about a 10% fail rate there. Best times to do this testing, I mentioned morning, before, after meals, and before bed. It's just kind of a good way for you to get an indication. The worksheet that's been provided for you gives you a place where you can track that. So just know that, making note of when you're feeling left nostril or right nostril dominance is good so that you can start to track that over time. And then expecting that to shift is part of this. Shifting can be induced through yoga breathing, and we'll continue to get deeper into that. So next we're going to learn Vishnu Mudra or just a pranayama breath and mudra being a lock. So with that, we're going to take our right hand and we're going to take the index finger and the middle finger and we're going to bend them down and keep the pinky and the ring finger extended. That may feel super awkward right now and you're like, I can't even, my hand won't do this. It's okay. It takes practice sometimes to be able to do that. So as you're going throughout your day, practice your pranayama mudra. So you're preparing for being able to lock our nose in. And the thumb will be using for that as well, especially through alternate nostril breathing and then a full lock, which we'll discuss. And so when I talk about this lock, it is completely closing off our nasal um, capacity. So we are not able to get any breath through the nose. That's how tightly we clasp when we go to clasp, and using this lock will allow you to do that. It will allow you to get better breath work because it's more controlled breath. If we're just holding our breath, we have a tendency that that air will continue to move through our nostrils. Even though we think we're holding it, you will definitely feel a difference in your breath work when you're doing a lock with your breath work, such as triangle or box breathing as we get further into this. Everybody feel comfortable with pranayama mudra lock? Okay. Well, we are going to use a timer here because we're going to move into the CO2 tolerance test. And with this one, we're just going to take some regular breaths, just your normal breaths before we get started. And after you exhale, you're going to actually take a moment to close your nose very tightly. Lips will be very tightly closed as well. And this will allow us to get a count on our breath. So I'm going to also share a timer here. And just give me a thumbs up if you can see that. I got a thumbs up. Great. Okay, so I am going to be attempting to turn on the timer and close off my nose at the same time. So this will be fun to be able to try to catch up. So we're going to take those three normal breaths. So make sure you're sitting up tall. Make sure you have room to breathe. We're not slunched forward, not leaning back in our chairs. So making sure that we're sitting up tall and taking just normal breaths in. Good. And then after your last exhale, take your pranayama mudra and close. So you will be looking at the time. So when you start to feel hunger in the breath, when you just can't hold that anymore, take a look at the timer and write that down. We're going to practice this a couple of times because it takes a moment to get into this and to be able to find it. So as soon as I see hands go down, I'll know that everybody has gotten to a point of hunger there. Good. All right. All right. So we'll have to stop that timer there. And we'll go ahead and prepare again for another breath. So we'll clear the timer and be able to start that again. And again, three just normal breaths here. And I'll count down that last breath with you. So nice deep inhale in, 1, 2, 3. As you exhale, prepare to close. Close. And if you start to feel that breath hunger, you can't hold your breath anymore, just relax, take note of the time, and write that down. And this is one that you'll be able to practice again. You may want to do it after this call just to make sure that you really feel like you understand the timing and the closure with this, but just making sure that you're taking time to write that one down and take notice of your breath. So with this, we're taking a notice of the diaphragm. If it starts to twitch and we feel like we've gone too far, then we may need to make sure that we're releasing the hold at that time. And then just making sure we're not straining. So it shouldn't feel uncomfortable or unnatural. It should just be comfortable in that space. So as soon as you feel that tug that you need that breath, stop and take down and make note of that time. And so that's our CO2 tolerance test. This is just one to take note of. We should be able to increase this over time, but you may also start to notice that different times of the day that it may be at a different place than other times. And so taking notes of that as well, recording those things, keeping a journal of your breath is just a good way for you to understand how your breath is working for you. And so we'll prepare to move to the next test.
Ray, are there, and maybe you're going to get into this, but are there like some sort of metrics of it should be this much, or at this point we're just getting a
No,
baseline?
this is a personal journey. So
Okay.
everyone is going to be in their own journey. So, and like I said, you may feel really good and be able to get a longer hold at one point. You may not have gotten a good night's sleep. And so then it's not so great the next morning whenever you do your testing. So it's really a good way of knowing how balanced you are. If you're able to go a little longer, you've kind of started to get more breath control versus, in a space of maybe that fight or flight, it's a little harder to hold during that time. So you may even do a nasal domination nostril test. And if right domination is happening, you may not be able to hold for as long, so that you might take note of that as well.
Okay.
And again, there's like a 10% discrepancy in some of this to where it's like, okay, well, you're fighting through, or maybe you're not clasping as tightly as what you thought you were. And so maybe some air is flowing through. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get my number higher. And so you start to pull breath through the mouth. And so just relaxing in it, it's not necessarily a contest, it's more of just awareness of where you are.
Okay. I think your timer is still going if you want to stop that.
Yeah, if I can, I will. Okay. Well, I've tried to get rid of that one, but it may just, if it's annoying, I'm sorry if you can
It's okay.
grab that and turn it off. So the next one is a breath control test. So this one will require you to be on mute because we don't want to hear everyone counting. But we will be taking a nice deep inhale. We will be using the lock again, but you're going to be exhaling and counting in your quietest audible voice as high up in your number as you can. So just a quick little bit of what that sounds like. So I'm going to go ahead and take in a nice deep inhale. Lock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Ah, okay. So that's what it's going to sound like on your side. So take in that nice deep inhale. Prepare your lock, close, and count. And it's going to take a little practice. So if you don't get it the first time, and wherever you get to, just writing down that number. This is just a rough gauge of your breath control ability, and it will increase as you get more practice there. I mentioned tissues earlier. It's a thing when we're breathing and holding our nose a little bit. So yeah, if you have those tissues close by, that's always a good thing. So how did that feel? Everybody good? feel a little funny, it's kind of hard to get that audible low voice. And then as you're exhaling, you're kind of letting that air out as you're calling out those numbers. So it takes a little practice, but just again, notating where you're at and trying to increase that one over time. And that will kind of give you an indication of your breath control ability. And that is just important as we're going throughout life, just being able to control our breath. We don't ever want to get into a panic space. We want to be able to bring our breath back. All right. So assignments. So nasal cycle testing, you're going to do that one upon waking, before and after bed, before and after exercise, before bed. CO2 tolerance, at least once per week. We did it today, and just taking that, we might want to practice it a little bit more just to make sure that you're getting it down. But it's just a good one to kind of know how you're doing, at least once a week. And again, that breath control test, as we did. So just taking time to do those. But before we go, we want to do a few breaths. I'm going to be sending out some videos to you that will have 3 different practices. One will be one that's called the fire breath that you'll do mornings. Alternate nostril, which can be done anytime midday. The evening practice is the triangle breath, and that one is a great one to do as you're preparing for bed and that getting ready for sleep. It can become part of your nighttime routines over time, so that it gives you an opportunity to just bring yourself down and prepare for sleep. So we'll take a moment to go through the 3 breaths. We won't do 10 full rounds or 20 breaths multiple times with fire breath as you will do in the videos. But just know I'm giving you an introduction now, but the videos will walk you through those breaths when you get ready to practice as well. So fire breath is quick breaths. So we're going to just focus on an exhale, and we're only going to be focused on the exhale. The inhale should just come in naturally. So as we exhale, you're actually inhaling as you're coming back from that exhale. So it's quick. And so we're going to work on that for 20 breaths. So take a moment, again, giving yourself space, roll those shoulders back, making sure that you have space through the belly, through the diaphragm, and up through the chest. And you can allow those eyes to become heavy. We are going to be doing exhales through the nose, inhaling through the nose on the recoil. So it's just going to naturally happen. You shouldn't even think about that. We're just focused on the exhale. Nice deep inhale in and exhale, 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 relax. How did that feel? You can tell that that can give you energy, right? You may have start to already feel it, but after 3 rounds of that, and you'll pause in between those 3 rounds, but that gives you an example of that fire breath. It's really helps to get you warmed up. If you're cold, it's a good one to get your body warmed up as it fires through the body. Take a moment to recover there. So on the next one is that midday practice with alternate nostrils. So you will be using your pranayama mudra. So you will be folding those 2 fingers down, extending the ring finger and pinky finger out along with that thumb, resting it down on your thigh as you prepare. With our alternate nostril breathing, we will be inhaling on that left side first. So we'll close off the right side with the thumb, and then we will close and then exhale out the right side. So knowing that you will be able to do that throughout this alternate nostril breathing. We will not be doing 10 full rounds. We'll only do a couple of rounds just so that you get a hang of it. Again, you'll have that video for reference. So pranayama mudra hand, preparing the hand, and then resting it down on your thigh there on your lap, sitting up tall, heavy eyes. Draw that right hand, thumb to right nostril. Nice deep inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. close. Exhale, right side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Exhale, left side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, left side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Exhale, right side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Exhale, left side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Hopefully you at least kind of got a feel for that. And so when you are practicing, you'll be able to get through those 10 rounds. This one is that balancing practice. It's like water, so you can do it anytime throughout the day. That is one that you want to make sure tissues are close by. All right. And then for the evening practice, it's called our triangle breath. So this one we will be doing an inhale on a 4 count. We'll hold for 4 and then exhale for 4. So it's in that shape of a triangle. And we will be using our pranayama mudra hand for that hold. So preparing the hand down, resting it on your lap there. Sitting up tall, rolling those shoulders back as you prepare each time. This again is our evening practice. And we'll begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. So again, you'll have those videos to walk you through those. It is a good practice to have a morning, midday, and evening practice with your breath work. It only takes about 5 minutes or less, depending on where you're at. It may take a little longer if you're able to relax into the space, but just knowing this is for you, this is just a tool for you. Begin to practice this each day for the next 4 weeks, but these practices you'll just start to hopefully do more naturally. You won't need the videos anymore. Once you practice several times, you'll just be able to go through it on your own. An evening practice with the triangle breath, we say 10 rounds. If you're laying down and you're doing this one, you may actually fall asleep on the 7th round. And what a beautiful thing, right? So if you fail and you don't make it to 10 rounds, you actually won because you fell asleep. So just knowing that it is a very relaxing practice, but you can take it with you throughout the week and hopefully throughout life, that you incorporate that in as a part of your sleep routine. Well, thank you all for taking the time to breathe with me today and taking this time for yourself. It really does allow you to have tools, additional tools that we have at our access at all times. Breath work is beautiful. It's an amazing piece to take with you always. And namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you back here next week.